Hello everybody, it's Dante Darby with MUO. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Navee S65C, a compact foldable e-scooter with some interesting features that I'm super excited to be testing out today. Before we get to do that though, let's go ahead and crack open the box and take a look at what's inside. Alright everybody, starting with the unboxing, let's go ahead and peel back that tape and take a look at what's in the box. Alright everyone, and we've got your included accessories laid out here. You're going to have your charger. These two pieces are what you're going to use for charging. You've got your 4 included screws that you'll need for setup right here. This tool that you're going to use to go ahead and install those 4 screws, and an extension tube piece that you can use to pump up your tires. It's going to be everything that's included in the box that you'll need. You're going to have that all ready to go. Now let's go ahead and get this device put together so we can start getting ready to use it. Alright everyone, we've got those screws put in the order that they recommend, but definitely take a look at your manual for that easy, simple, quick startup guide. Now, I did want to show you the build quality before we rough this up and take this through all these different riding situations. First impressions, the setup was super simple, unboxing was simple, seamless, and really quick. So I really can't complain there. First impressions are looking really good. Build quality looks very solid. I am a bigger guy, 6'3", 260 pounds. This looks like this thing might have been made for me. I will say that I think it's gonna hold my weight well, and it looks like it's gonna hold up well. Real quick tutorial on that clip there, but we'll talk about that more. It also works as your bell. It's the same switch. All you gotta do is line it up. When it clicks, you'll know it sticks. Very simple. So, great first impressions, super excited to take this out on the road, but first we're going to be moving on to the specs of the device, talking a little bit about that, and then we'll take it into the real world. Let's go ahead and move on. Alright everyone, starting with the specs of the Navee S65C, this device is powered by a direct drive motor with a maximum output of 900 watts. It's a 36 volt, 15 amp hour battery with some regenerative properties to it, so if you are riding and not using the motor, it is going to charge up that battery and basically extend your battery life a little bit. It does have the dual suspension system, which we're going to test very thoroughly and rigorously. We're definitely going to run that through the ringer. It does have a charger included in the box. I do want to go ahead and show you the specs as far as the dimensions for the device. We're going to go ahead and throw that up on screen here, and this is going to show you the size folded as well as unfolded. Some other notable mentions of the device are going to be the 10-inch self-sealing tires to help guarantee a reliable, consistent ride, making sure you get from point A to point B, and it does support up to a 22% incline. So all in all, features and specs are looking pretty well rounded. I do want to mention that IP55 rating for dust and water resistance is going to help with that longevity. As I mentioned in the unboxing, build quality is definitely solid, and I was not disappointed with that. I'm super excited to take this out into the field. So let's go ahead and ditch the studio and go out into the great outdoors on a little adventure and really put this thing to the test. Alright, now let's talk about the riding experience for the Navee S65C. The riding test was going to be the most important test of this device. Now, all those features aside, was it a good riding experience? I've got a resounding yes. I had a blast riding this device. I spent most of my time in sports mode, going about as fast as I could and having a good time doing that. That sports mode is going to open you up to 20 miles per hour and give you that faster acceleration as well. The walking mode had quite a few issues that I will mention a few times, but biggest issues with the walking mode was that it did not seem to be responsive when I would go from walking with the device to going into that walk speed. If I was with some friends who were walking, it just didn't consistently accelerate. This is an issue that was isolated to just this mode from my personal experiences. If anybody else had that experience, please leave a comment down below because I'm curious to see if that was just me. Beyond that, normal/standard mode, it worked as it was intended. You know, really it's just gonna be just as responsive as sports mode. It's really gonna limit you to about 12 to 14 miles per hour in most instances, but it does accelerate more consistently, feels a little bit smoother. Some could say that the sports mode is a little jerky. I think that's just because of the faster acceleration. And I personally, obviously, I did not have any issues with that trade-off because that's where I spent most of my time. Riding it through the urban environments, we took it up to Town Center here in Virginia Beach, had a great time on the streets as well as on the sidewalks, and it was a very smooth experience. Then from there, I did actually take it out here to the ocean front in Virginia Beach just to kind of demonstrate and talk about the durability with that IP rating that this device has. I think it's going to be a great product for people living in coastal cities who want a little bit more reassurance as far as durability and longevity. I have ridden the device in the rain with light mist. I'm not going to take it through a torrential downpour, but I think that it's definitely proved itself in terms of durability, to me at least, and I think that you will not find any different experience on your end as well. So very, very solid when it comes to durability. I think once again, if you're living in a coastal town, you should be looking at a device like this anyways with extended durability, some level of IP rating to give you that peace of mind. Taking it out here to First Landing State Park, we took it off-road to really push this device to its limits, but I found some pretty surprising results. The tires themselves, may need to look into that and get a little bit more creative if you are someone who likes to customize their devices. Some off-road tires would be great if you want to go off-road. It's going to be able to handle maintaining its speeds pretty well, but I've noticed that it does tend to struggle in holding a grip in these sandier environments. Oftentimes I spent a good majority of my time off-road dodging sticks as well as roots, but with that flexible chassis, you can get some pretty good bunny hops in and you can make those, quick jumps as needed. I had a great time with this device, and once again, I really wanted to take it off-road to really just push it to its limits and see what it could do. I was pretty impressed, but I will say if you're looking for an off-road scooter, this is not going to be it without quite a bit of customization. Taking it through here though, it definitely showed me how much potential this dual suspension system has. I think that most of that shock that I was feeling actually came from just the design itself with the ability to fold. This clips right here. It's really nice. It's great for portability, but I think that it's not the most secure. If you want to be able to fold your device and bring it with you, that's just a trade-off. For that reason, I'm definitely going to recommend this primarily for the urban environments. If you're in a coastal city, smooth roads, sidewalks, and streets, it's going to do a very solid job. Off-road, your mileage is going to vary, no pun intended. Let's go ahead and transition into talking about the pros and cons for this device. Starting with the pros, I absolutely loved the device's height. The size for me, I'm about 6'3", was phenomenal. If you're on the shorter side, you may still want a device like this that's as large, but if you are a larger person like myself, you're definitely going to appreciate this device's size. On top of that, you're going to have, once again, that amazing suspension system, which really blew me away. It guaranteed a nice, smooth ride every time. And if you want to make those bunny hops and quick jumps, if you want to avoid something, it did very well at that. Speeds and acceleration were very solid as well. I enjoyed it the most in sports mode, which you'll hear me talk about a bunch. That's really where I spent most of my time, of course. And I was going very fast and enjoying myself. I definitely didn't have any accidents. I didn't fall, but I do recommend, maybe wearing a helmet. Look into your local laws and regulations, see if you are required to wear a helmet, but I'm gonna firmly recommend it if you wanna go at those higher speeds. Now, I will say that the device itself is very solid. The pros are really just as an e-scooter, you're gonna have that foldability, once again, that amazing suspension system. The app was nice, and you can lock it with the app as well, which is pretty cool. And you're gonna have lights built on the front and back, which is just gonna help with the safety of the rider. So if you want to be able to ride out on the open roads as well as sidewalks and streets, it's gonna do an amazing job. You know, it aced our ride test. It did a great job there. You know, talking about some of the cons, I will say, you know, really, walk speed is very quirky. It does not start and stop consistently, and I found that to be its only weak point. Also, I would almost want to beg for the ability to be able to customize the different speeds for these modes, or maybe some parameters on how it functions. Personally, you know, I would like to make the walk speed a little bit faster, but that's just my own personal preference. And though I won't say it's necessarily a con, but you are not necessarily going to get that proper exact battery life. I almost want to put it in the pros category because I do feel like the battery life is very solid. I charged it very little and I rode it quite a bit. I will say though, with how I was riding it, which was primarily in sports mode, and with my weight being at the upper end of the spectrum, around 260 pounds, it definitely was not giving me that 40 miles drive time. I was getting on average around 25, which I think is acceptable. And for most people, especially in the city environment, you're gonna get very far on a single charge, to say the least. Not a lot of cons in general. It's really just those quirks. Just to sum that up, you know, like I said, I wish I had some ability to customize the different parameters for these driving modes. Because of the design of it folding, you are gonna get some shock and you're gonna feel those bumps a little bit. And I think that the suspension system is amazing, but really, this right here, you know, the ability to fold it is gonna be creating where you feel that shock. That point right there is somewhat of a weak point. So, in conclusion, should you buy the Navee S65C? Well, I could easily recommend it to a beginner who's buying their first e-scooter. This is a great investment, and it's, although upwards of $1,000, giving you a lot for that money. I do think that if you've been thinking about upgrading for a while and you're waiting to pull the trigger, this might be the device that's worth pulling the trigger on. The Navee S65C has done nothing but blow away my expectations. It delivers that smooth ride with the dual suspension system, quick and consistent braking as well with the rear EABS, as well as the front drum braking system. And the features on the app are solid, though once again, I would love the ability to customize the parameters for these different driving modes. All in all, I've had nothing but a good time with the device, and I see a lot of potential when it comes to other people like me living in these coastal towns who are a little bit more concerned about dust, humidity, and moisture. If you're looking for something that's gonna have a better outlook in terms of longevity, then I think this is it. They've done a great job here, and once again, I think the cons are pretty few and far between. With the quirks with walk mode, something to keep in mind if you actually plan on being able to use walk speed consistently. If for some reason you're constantly traveling out with your friends who are on foot and you're on the scooter, you may want to keep that in mind. Outside of that, I've had a great experience, and the device itself performs consistently and reliably. Charge times do take a little bit from what I've seen, but I was able to get, when it comes to a full charge, about, once again, 25 miles on that full charge, and that's going sports mode, and with me being on the upper end of the weight class for the device, right at around 260 pounds. So all in all, I was impressed with the Navee S65C, and I think you will be as well if you decide to pick one up. If you've been looking at an e-scooter for a while now and you're ready to pull the trigger, now might be the time. Now, I would love to hear what everyone thinks in the comments section down below. Go ahead and hop in there and let me know what you guys think. If you already have one, what you love about it. If you also experienced some of the things that I didn't like, go ahead and let me know and we can talk about that down below. But I think that a lot of people are going to be looking at this device for a few different reasons. But when it comes to like the urban lifestyle, you're going to love it. If you're looking at this device for off-road, this may not be it, but I see some huge potential for Navee down the line. If they want to implement the suspension system into an off-road specific model, we could have a great device on our hands. But once again, focusing on what we have here, the Navee S65C is an amazing product, and you're going to have a good time riding it. As always, thank you for your time watching. I hope each and every one of you has a great day. Bye now.